In this installment, we're going to be going over the NFL Week 14 early games. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chef D, and I'm here to bring you the winning ingredients for our Week 14 NFL bet slate we got going on. This will be the early games, but before we deep dive into that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MetsNetShetsD. Don't forget about the TikTok at Chet_D91, and don't forget about that Patreon. All right, right now we're at the homepage, currently at 8.71 thousand subscribers. This is the road to 10K, and we're well on our way because you guys are showing up each and every single day. If you already subscribed, continue to like and comment. That helps the YouTube algorithm so we can grow to a much broader audience. So it's super key that you're checking in on this video and you are subscribing. If you are not subscribed, it doesn't hurt. It takes no effort at all. Just click that subscribe button, join the team, and click that notification bell so you can get up to date on all the plays on all the videos that I post on this channel. Super important because we've been on a very good streak as of late, and we smashed in that last video with the Green Bay Packers at a +3.5 if you were here. And if you joined the Patreon, you had these plays here. You had the +3.5. I gave out Tim Patrick anytime touchdown. I wish I would have had him for 2. That would have been insane. +6,000. That's what I saw for Tim Patrick for 2. We got him for 1 at +470. Great value on that pick there. And I also gave out a parlay on that Thursday, Penn State money line and college basketball, and I paired that with New Orleans Pelicans +2, and they outright won. All right, so if you want to sign up for winning bets, you click on that link provided down below. Get connected with the community that we're building up on Patreon here. When you sign up, you're getting daily bets, future bets, and access to that group chat that goes off 24/7. I'm so excited to announce I have partnered with BetStamp and Sign Up Expert to provide you guys with an easier way to sign up with any sportsbook in your area. If you go to the link in the description down below, you will be directed to this page you see here. It automatically displays all available sportsbooks in your area plus their current promotions. For example, you could take the plays given in this video and apply it to any other sportsbooks you don't currently have and reap the rewards. Now let's get into the slate. First up in Hard Rock Stadium here, Miami Dolphins 5-7, New York Jets 3-9, AFC East battle here. Dolphins trying to fight and stay alive in that wild card spot here. Dolphins are -275 on the money line with the comeback of the Jets at a +225. Point spread set at 6 and total points set at 45. Public bet percentage here. We got 90% of the bets, 89% of the money all over the Dolphins here. For the point spread, 67% of the bets, 60% of the money all over Miami to cover the spread. And for the total points, 74% of the bets, 65% of the money towards the over 45 in this particular game. Let's look at the injury report here. This Jets team, if you're looking at the injury report, they have given up. All right, Sauce Gardner now, hamstring injury. He's not going to play in this game. Breece Hall is being sit with his knee issue, supposed knee issue. He's going to be out of this game as well. Morgan Moses, Elijah Vera-Tucker, Fashanu, our rookie, is all questionable. We have CJ Mosley. He was out for the majority of the season. They brought him back for like 2 games, and he went right back to being out because it's just not worth it. This team, I'm telling you right now, this Jets team has fully given up here. Stiggers, their cornerback, he's questionable, and Newman Johnson is questionable as well. All right. For the Miami Dolphins, they're getting healthier and healthier. Teron Armstead is going to be questionable since he had 3 DNPs in a row. We'll see if he'll give it a go at the tackle spot. That'll be a much needed asset to that O-line and to protect Tua Tagovailoa. We got Q tags on Anthony Walker, Bradley Chubb. Haven't seen Bradley Chubb in a long time. He is back. He might be able to play in this game here. no major injuries here for the Dolphins. All right, they look pretty healthy. A lot of Q tags. Confirmation will happen on Sunday morning. All right. So looking at this game here, this one should be pretty open and shut. Dolphins. In that tough, cold environment, they lost against the Green Bay Packers in that game. That is understandable. They had a 3-game winning streak before that game. And on the Jets on the other side, they have been stinking up the joint week after week, having multiple opportunities with the lead in the last 2 weeks and still finding ways to lose. It's just embarrassing in performance. This has not been a very good experience with Aaron Rodgers, and they don't need to bring him back next year, 100% honestly. This team here in the New York Jets, both teams against opposing running backs have been pretty strong. The Jets, 3.6 yards a carry, 87 yards a game. And the Miami Dolphins have been even better. They're only allowing 62 yards a game, 3.7 yards a carry. So, like I said, this Dolphins team continues to get stronger and stronger. I have no problems with this Dolphins team putting up points because if we're looking at fantasy points allowed to opposing QBs, the Jets are third worst in the league, 30th overall, 32nd in the red zone. So they're giving up touchdowns at a very high clip, giving up 248 yards passing. And we already seen this Miami team passing the ball. They have been clicking as of late. They did struggle, like I said, in that cold weather game against Green Bay. You saw them get warmed up in the late part of the third and fourth quarter. This is going to be a field day for the Dolphins here. Love them in a complete sweep. Give me the Dolphins on the money line. Give me the Dolphins -6. And for the total, I don't expect the Jets to put up points to make this total go towards over. So give me the under on the 45 of the total points. In MetLife Stadium here, we have the New York Giants 2-10 going against the New Orleans Saints 4-8. For the current odds for this one, Saints are road favorites here, -250 on the money line, with the comeback of the Giants at a +200, point spread at 5. So it's a pretty big spread here for a 4-8 team on the road at that. And the total points is set at 41. Full game public bet percentage here, 91% of the bets, 88% of the money, all over the New Orleans Saints. For the point spread, 73% of the bets, 80% of the money all over the Saints to cover the 5. And for the total points, 76% of the bets, 65% of the money towards the over 41. All right, for the injury report here between these two teams, it's a pretty laundry list here. All right, for the Giants, Dexter Lawrence and Theo Johnson are on season-ending IR, so those guys are out. Major key component with Dexter Lawrence being out as their nose tackler, who was looking phenomenal this year. Deonte Banks is out. Nunez Roches is out. Bobby Okereke, their best linebacker, is out as well. DJ Davidson is out. He's doubtful. And we have Jermaine Illuminor, who they acquired during the offseason at guard. He is doubtful as well. Wait on news about Malik Neighbors. He did get a DNP on Friday's practice. So a couple major concerns there for the New York Giants. Saints, on the other hand, dealing with some injuries as well. Taysom Hill, who's been their Swiss Army knife, been able to do everything. He's out. Cesar Ruiz, unspecified with a concussion. We don't know if he's going to play or not. Saldiveri, their old lineman, he's going to be out. Bub Means, their wide receiver, he's going to be out. So they're decimated at tight end. They're decimated at wide receiver for the New Orleans Saints. And you got a couple Q tags on Kendre Miller and their D linemen. Okay, so a lot of question marks across the board for both of these teams between the Saints and the Giants. There's a little bit too much confidence for me on the Saints right now, especially with the 5 points, because this Saints team, yes, they made the head coach change. They got a little momentum in that game against Atlanta, which technically they should have lost that game. And then they showed up against Cleveland. But then things came back down to earth against the LA Rams when they lost that game. It got dominated. Lost by 7, but it wasn't close. All right, so that was the real Saints team. There's a lot of holes in this team here for the New Orleans Saints. All right, they sold off Marshawn Lattimore. They've been selling pieces of their team. And on the other side, the New York Giants has just been struggling. They're on an 8-game losing streak right now. But in that Dallas game, despite the early struggles, and the fact that they struggle to stopping the run game, they did show up in that second half and put up a valiant effort in that game. Wind up losing only by 7 in that one. All right. So if we're looking at some fantasy points allowed to opposing running backs, both of these teams are giving up a lot of yards. So Tyrone Tracy and Alvin Kamara are in very good spots here. The Giants are 31st and 32nd, giving up 135 yards, 4.8 yards a carry. Actually, the Saints are even worse at stopping the run. They're 26th overall. They're giving up 128 rushing yards a game and 5.4 yards per carry. So that's a very big numbers there. And then when we're looking at the secondary, the Giants have a much better secondary the last past couple weeks, other than the Saints. Like I said, Saints gave away Lattimore, and this team is giving up nearly 300 yards passing a game, 294 and 1.3 TDs per game. And then the Giants are way down here. They're 6th overall, giving up only 205 yards passing and 0.7 TDs a game to opposing QB. So this spot here lends me to believe that the home dog here is going to put up a valiant effort here against the Saints that have struggled time in and time out. So give me the points on the Giants. I love the +5 here. And for the total, I'm going to be leaning towards the under in this game. I think both offenses can run the ball. It's going to kill the clock. And I think the under is going to hit for under 41. In Nissan Stadium here, we have the Tennessee Titans 3-9 going against the Jacksonville Jaguars 2-10. AFC South battle here for the bottom feeders in that division here. Titans are home favorites, -190 on the money line with the comeback of the Jaguars at a +155. Point spread set at 3.5. Total points set at 40. All right. Public bet percentage here, 84% of the bets, 66% of the money, all over the Tennessee Titans in this one. For the point spread, 64% of the bets, 73% of the money for the Titans to cover that 3.5. And for the total points, we have 82% of the bets, 80% of the money towards that over 40 on the total. Looking at the injury report here for these two teams, starting off with the Jaguars, very light in the injury department here, but this team has been very, very bad. The only one of concern is Logan Cook, 3 DNPs in a row. He's trending towards not playing in this game. Titans are dealing with a couple issues here. Roger McCrary and Kenneth Murray are highly questionable with 3 DNPs in a row. So is Tavondre Sweat as well. And Jalen Duncan, O-lineman, he's going to be out. And Logan Bruss, guard, he's going to be out as well. So 2 linemen here that they're going to be concerned about. But going up against this team here in the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are decimated and down to their backup quarterback, still is not much of an issue for these Tennessee Titans here. If we're looking at these key factors, Mac Jones is not a very good quarterback, and this defense is absolutely one of the worst in the league. Looking at fantasy points allowed to opposing running backs, this is a great spot here for Tony Pollard. Jacksonville Jaguars are 30th overall and 28th in the red zone. They're giving up 140 rushing yards per game, 4 yards a carry. So Tony Pollard is in a very prime spot here against his rival in division, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I like him for a touchdown. I like his yards. Definitely look towards him in this particular game. And not to mention, not only is it good for Tony Pollard, it is also good for Will Levis. The Jacksonville Jaguars are giving up 310 passing yards a game and 1.7 TDs per game as well. Calvin Ridley has been struggling as of late, and this is a perfect spot for him to get cooking here with all the attention on Nick Westbrook-Ikhine. Look for Calvin Ridley in this game against this poor secondary to step up here. So positives on both sides here for the Titans, the run game and the pass game. The Titans are very good at stopping opposing QBs as well. They're top 10 in the league there. So that is going to bode well for this defense, and it's going to be bad news for Mac Jones. So across the board here, we're going to go with the Titans on the money line. Titans to cover the 3.5, and for the over-under, I'm going to lean towards the under 40 points. I see the Titans putting up points, but I see the Jaguars struggling to put offense together with Mac Jones. In US Bank Stadium here, Minnesota Vikings here 10-2 going up against the Atlanta Falcons 6-6. For the current odds here, Vikings home favorites -250 on the money line with the comeback of the Falcons at a +200. Point spread set at 5.5. Total points set at 46. All right. Public bet percentage here, 89% of the bets, 89% of the money all over in Minnesota. For the point spread, it's a little more split even here. 55% of the bets, 51% of the money on the side of Atlanta. Sharps are leaning towards the Falcons and the points in this one. Total points, 74% of the bets, 64% of the money towards the over 46 in the total. Looking at the current injury report here, the Atlanta Falcons not dealing with many injuries here. A couple Q tags, a lot of people on non-related injury, personal matter. Jace McClellan, the running back, he's like third string running back. He's out of this game. Everyone else is just getting rest. All right. For the Minnesota Vikings, no Stephon Gilmore, their veteran corner. He's going to be out. A couple Q tags here, but everyone is trending towards playing in this game here for the Vikings. If you want to stay up to date to that, definitely check in on the injury reports on their official websites. Okay. For these two teams here, Atlanta Falcons have been struggling here. It coincides with Kirk Cousins really crumbling here, and the same issues that they had earlier in the season with Kirk Cousins not being able to do bootlegs and play action, all these hampers that really mitigated this offense and set them back is rearing its ugly head yet again against New Orleans, against Denver, and against the Chargers. This is a motivation spot for him. Kirk Cousins' former team, Minnesota Vikings, he's coming back home here, and Vikings clearly on a big winning streak here, 5 in a row, as you can see, beating Arizona, Chicago, Tennessee, Jacksonville, and the Colts. This is a proof it here because his behind is on the hot seat. All right, they are definitely looking at Michael Penix if Kirk Cousins does not come through in this particular game here. All right, Darnold, who's been up and down, he finally showed up in that Arizona game. That comeback was on his shoulders in the fourth quarter against Arizona's defense there. That was a positive sign because he was struggling in the previous games against Chicago, Tennessee, Jacksonville, and the Colts. The Minnesota Vikings have been getting away with their running game and their high-pressure defense. All right, so Kirk Cousins should be very familiar with this high-pressure defense as well, and I think he's going to be motivated in this spot here. If I'm looking at stats both ways, both of these defenses are pretty tight. The one that is going to be an enigma there is the Falcons' pass defense. All right, so Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and those likes could have a very decent game here, but I think they come out with a scheme that can limit some of those other guys. If you need to just let Justin Jefferson eat and fine and take what you can get from everyone else, that is understandable. I believe in the Falcons and Kirk Cousins to show up yet again in this spot in Minnesota against his former team, and I think that 5.5. I'm going to agree with the public, and I'm going to agree with the sharps here for the Falcons. This team is better than what we've seen. Yes, they struggled at the beginning. We saw their hot streak, and now they have struggled the last 3 weeks. I think they get back on the right side of things here in this particular game. Give me the plus 5.5. I think that this is too many points here for the Vikings. All right, that's too much confidence in them. They are not that dominant of a team. So give me the plus 5.5 on the Falcons. For the over-under, I will lean towards the over in this particular game. Two high-octane offenses. I can see a back-and-forth type of environment, and it comes down to some crucial moments in that fourth quarter. And Lincoln Financial Field, Philadelphia Eagles 10-2, going up against the Carolina Panthers 3-9. This game here, very interesting. Huge line. Eagles -900 at home with the comeback of the Panthers at a +600. Point spread at 13.5. Total points at 46. All right. Public bet percentage here, 97% of the bets, 82% of the money towards the Philadelphia Eagles. For the point spread, 67% of the bets, 64% of the money on the Eagles to cover the 13.5. And for the total points, we have 81% of the bets, 76% of the money towards the over 46 in this particular game. Looking at the injury report here for these two teams, starting off with the Panthers, we have Jadeveon Clowney, their outside linebacker, highly questionable, 3 DNPs in a row here. We have Jalen Coker, most likely not going to play, so that's going to be back to the cast and crew that they had last week. Positive news, Ja'Tavion Sanders looks like he's going to be back from that neck injury he had 2 weeks ago. That's a positive sign there. But everything else is fine for the Carolina Panthers. Eagles, Reed Blankenship and Sidney Brown are going to be out this game. Britton Covey out. Dallas Goedert out as well. So it's going to be A.J. Brown in a spot here, in a very good spot, and Devonta Smith. So the 1-2 punch is still there. And obviously the run game is super, super important here for the Philadelphia Eagles going up against this Carolina Panthers team. Carolina Eagles do have to deal with some injuries at the safety position, but this secondary has been absolutely elite. Cooper DeJean and cast and crew have been phenomenal here. Mitchell as well for the Eagles. It's a very daunting task for the Carolina Panthers in this game. I don't need to look at one stat, all right? Can the Panthers stop the run? And the answer is absolutely not. Panthers are 27th in the league, and they are 11th in the red zone, all right? 11th in the red zone, all right? They're somehow holding teams, or you just could be they're letting up more passing touchdowns in the red zone than rushing touchdowns. But the stark number here, and it leads the NFL. They're giving up 152 yards a game rushing. 152. And they're giving up the most yards per carry in the league. This is an absolute. You thought last week was a great spot, or 2 weeks ago was a great spot for Saquon Barkley. This is even better. All right, 5.7 yards a carry. The Panthers are giving up the last past 3 weeks. Major concern here. If you can't stop the run, then you can't stop the Eagles. They will run it down your throats. It doesn't matter if it's Jalen Hurts, if it's Saquon Barkley, if it's Will Shipley, if it's Kenneth Gainwell. They won't stop, and they'll continue with that dominant offensive line. And this is going to be a complete sweep here. Give me the Eagles, obviously, to win on the money line. Give me the Eagles to cover the 13.5. This team and the Eagles, 7 games in a row of over 24 points. Can the Panthers score what? At least, I'm hoping 16 to make this go towards over. I expect this team, the Eagles, to get 30. I expect the Eagles to get 30 points in this game here, and mainly off of rushing TDs. But we'll see. That over-under, it's very one-sided. Take the team total over on the Eagles, all right? Team total over on the Eagles, or you could take Panthers team total under and take it that way. The 46, I'll probably lean, but I would definitely lean over team total Eagles, under team total for the Panthers, all right? That's our play, and the Eagles cover in this game. In Accushore Stadium here, Pittsburgh Steelers 9-3 going up against the Cleveland Browns 3-9 for this in-division matchup, AFC North battle. Steelers at home -275 on the money line with the comeback of the Browns at a +225. Point spread set at 6.5. Total points set at 43.5. Public bet percentage here, 94% of the bets, 99% of the money all over the Steelers. For the point spread, 67% of the bets and money towards the Steelers to cover the 6.5. And for the total points, 84% of the bets, 93% of the money towards the over 43.5 on the total. Looking at the injury report here in this game, a lot of veteran rest here for the Steelers. The only out is going to be Martravius Adams, D tackle. He's going to be out. And George Pickens popped up on the injury report on Friday with a little bit of a hamstring injury. Just stay tuned to news on him for Sunday morning if he's going to give it a go in this game here. Cleveland Browns dealing with a couple outs here. Maurice Hurst, D tackle, out. Sam Kamara, linebacker, out. Cedric Tillman, their number 2 wide receiver, he's going to be out. So this is going to be a Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore, and David Njoku type of game here that they're going to focus on. Q tags on Juan Thornhill and Jamari Thrash. Jedrick Wills is out yet again. It's been the past 4 or 5 weeks that Jedrick Wills has not played, and they have supplemented decently on the offensive line to protect Jameis Winston for the Cleveland Browns. All right, so these two teams faced each other very recently in that snow game. That was 24-19 in that one. So for that particular game, you got 43 points here, and that was a snow game, and now they set the line. The total's exactly at 43.5. So it's a give and take there. I'm leaning towards the over in this game. mainly because better environment. It's not going to snow in this particular game here. Revenge narrative on the Steelers. I like this offense that we've seen. I think they're going to make adjustments. That weather helped the Cleveland Browns in that game. I think the Steelers are going to be well prepared in this one. A little bit of a back and forth environment because you do have Jameis Winston. He's defense proof. All right, you saw what he did against the Denver Broncos elite defense. He can pass it on any team. All right, and he is not shy at all, and he can find the open guy. All right, the problem is, will he make the mistake or not? All right, so this game, love the over on 43.5, despite the fact that this is an in-division matchup here. The Steelers offense is clicking, number one, and Jameis Winston is quick to definitely put up points on the board as well. But in this particular game, the Steelers are going to get revenge in this one after that upset loss. Give me the Steelers on the money line. Steelers to cover the 6.5, and I like the over on the 43.5 in this AFC North matchup. Last but not least, here in Raymond James Stadium, Tampa Bay Buccaneers 6-6, Las Vegas Raiders 2-10. AFC versus NFC battle. A battle of the Pirates here between the Buccaneers and the Raiders. Buccaneers at -300 on the money line. Raiders +240. Point spread at 6.5. Total points at 46.5. These two opponents are not familiar with each other at all. Here, they have faced each other on a very minuscule amount of times here. So the surprise factor is going to be a little bit raised, okay? Public bet percentage here, 93% of the bets, 93% of the money on the Buccaneers. Very heavily here. For the point spread, 59% of the bet, 65% of the money for Tampa Bay to cover the 6.5. And for the total points, 72% of the bets, 89% of the money towards the over 46.5 in this particular game. All right, let's look at the injury report here for these two teams. Nate Hobbs, their veteran cornerback, he's going to be out. Zamir White is going to be out. Justin Shorter, backup, third string tight end, is going to be doubtful. Jacoby Myers is questionable, but is most likely going to play in this game. Aiden O'Connell will be the QB in this game for the Raiders. All right. Tampa Bay Buccaneers dealing with a lot of outs defensively. KJ Britt is out. Mike Edwards is out. Troy Hill is out at cornerback. Marquise Watts is out. And we have a couple Q tags on JJ Russell, Josh Hayes, Trey Palmer, Shoyinka, who left the game last week, but looks like he's going to play in this one, and Tyke Smith. All right, so this particular game here between the Raiders and the Buccaneers. Raiders coming off a valiant effort against the Kansas City Chiefs. Almost came away with that win there after switching the quarterbacks. Aiden O'Connell is now the QB. He does give them upside here for the offense, and Brock Bowers is emerging as a very elite talent at the tight end position as well. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 2 games in a row, dominated the Giants, and they barely got the win against Carolina. So this Buccaneers team is not a good team here, and you're getting 6.5 points. If we're looking at fantasy points allowed to opposing running backs here, there's a little bit of an issue. So we're looking at both of these teams here. Raiders and Buccaneers are top tier, top 3 in the league actually the past couple weeks, only allowing 3.3 yards carry, and Raiders allowing 64 yards a game, Buccaneers allowing 49 yards a game. All right, so that D line for both sides is strong, stopping the run. The issue is both of these teams are giving up a lot of passing yards and a lot of yards to opposing QBs. So the Buccaneers here, their defense, 24th overall. They're giving up 281 yards passing and 1 TD per game to opposing quarterbacks. Raiders, just as bad, giving up 289 yards a game to opposing QBs and 2 TDs. So both QBs are in good spots here for the Raiders and for the Buccaneers. So this total, going to lean towards the over in this one here, like the over 46.5, and a little bit of a shootout between the Raiders and the Buccaneers. And that means I think that this game is going to be close, back and forth environment. 6.5 is too many points for me. So give me the Raiders here. on the +6.5. I think that's great value. If I was going towards a total, I like that 46.5 because of both of these poor secondaries here on both of these teams. All right, so those are going to be our selections for the early slate on week 14. Let me know in that comment section down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? We can definitely debate about that in the comment section. If you want to sign up for winning plays and winning bets and parlays, go to the description. You click on that link, get connected. You're getting access to daily bets, future bets, and access to that group chat that goes off 24/7. This is your boy Chef D. I'll be back very soon. Peace out.